Hi, it's Jo from Design with Jo, and this is Ink, Paper, Play Live, bite-sized ideas for your crafting toolkit. And today we're going to be playing with some scraps that you are going to turn into some shiny little shapes. And remember that we always have the project reveal at the end. These are really short little videos. I am bringing tips and techniques and different things that I want you to encourage you to use in your crafting. So today, what we're going to talk about is, are you tired of hunting for glossy paper that's colored or shiny foil paper in the color that you want, or maybe even some glitter paper, although we're going to work just with paper today. And this way you can take any color that you have. You can take designer paper, you can take cardstock, and you can create your own custom one-of-a-kind shapes that you can use in your paper crafting. So we're going to start right away, and the surprise is in this series is that I'm not always going to be using current items. I know we all have tons of things in our supplies, in our stashes, and so you might see me pull out, in fact you will see me pull out some things that have been retired, because I want you to pull them out and I want you to start using them. So these are the tools that you need, okay? So what I'm going to be working with today and doing is creating some Halloween items. So what you need is your Versamark pad, you need some clear embossing powder, and I have mine in a plastic container here. You need some cardstock. We're going to use pumpkin pie, perfect for pumpkins, and you need your heat tool. And then what I also have here is just a board that's covered with tinfoil, and we are going to heat our items on top of there. Now, I want to show you a few different ways to do this. Now you can put a piece of paper in behind if you want to not get any ink on your work surface. So I'll just put one in behind just so I don't have to clean up. And this is the quickest way to do this. So what you want to do is just take your Versamark pad, open it up, and you want to just pat it on. I found it works better if you pat it as opposed to rubbing it. So if you pat it, you're going to be able to get a pretty clean look to it. And so you're just going to tap that on everywhere, and then you're going to dip that into your clear embossing powder. Now I am lucky because I do have this nice little container, but you can do this also just with your paper underneath, if that's how you do it. Give it a good little tap off, and then I'm just going to pull this in here and I'm going to heat it up. So you want it on your high heating, and just get this really nice and hot, and then you're just going to heat it. Now you're probably going to have to hold it down. You can hold it down just with your finger like I am, or pull in a pair of tweezers, or take your pick tool, and you're going to heat it until you see that really nice shine. And as soon as you see the shine, move away. So you want to move as soon as you see it turn glossy. Okay, so you probably are seeing that. You can also heat from the back if you like. If you have a really hot heat tool, that's a good way to save your paper a little bit, because you don't want it to warp. And so just get a nice even, as this heats up more, it goes a little bit quicker. Don't hold it in one spot. That's probably the thing that happens the most, is that you hold it in one spot or you wave it around. Just hold it until it changes, then move it. Hold until it changes and then move. Okay, so we have, you can see, I'm hoping you can see this, you have a super glossy finish, and you can see where I maybe had a little bit more ink because it's super glossy here, and here it's pebbled. So there's two different looks, but it's perfectly fine. So now what I'm going to do is, when you have your punches, I'm going to use the modern oval punch, and I am just, make sure you give it a little bit of chance to dry. I'm just going to punch that out. So I want to make this as economical as possible. Okay, and you've got your image now, or you've got your shape. So that's one shape, and I want to show you super quickly. No, I'm going to make you wait for just a little bit. So that's one way to do it. Okay, the second way that you can do it is, I've cut myself a little piece of paper here, And this is the two-tone basic black, and I've just scored it in the middle because I want to fold it in half. So I'm going to make a pumpkin out of this guy right here, and this one I'm going to make some bats. So you do have the option of using punch. If you have a bat punch, so this one was from a couple of years ago, you can just punch these out. Now I always try to use my punches upside down. Let's say you only want one, then you only have to go that far in. Actually, I want the shiny side out. Or if you want all three, you should be able to get all three. I think maybe this way you can get all three. And again, I want to try and be as economical as possible with my paper because I'm going to want to use it for something else. Okay, so when you have more than one punch, you're going to need to use just a little bit more of that Popeye strength. Okay, and these guys here, if I can pull them out, these are a little bit more pebbled, so not as shiny. Okay, and I'm going to show you some samples with those, so hold on. But what if you don't have that punch? What I did is I took one of the bats and I folded it exactly in half. And then I just drew it onto a shape. So I took a circle and I punched out a circle. So this one here is my 3/4 inch circle. Now, if you have a piece like this, you're going to need to take your Post-it note and we're going to stick that in and you're going to punch it. Okay? And you only want to go halfway, about halfway. And just eyeball that. And then you have stuff flying all over the place. But now what you're going to do is you are going to cut that out. Okay, and when you cut it out, I like to do the little, the head first. I guess those are the ears, right? And you don't need to draw it, but that is what you can use to draw it with. And then the bottom part is next. And we're going to end near the top. And I have found that you can get more than one out of one circle. Okay, so you don't have to be especially talented to make yourself your bats. So I'm going to show you now how you can take this and give, that one isn't a super great bat, but now what we're going to do, this is a little harder because you have to be a little bit more precise. You could be a little messier. Get yourself some clear, some Versamark on there again. If it helps, hold on to it with your tweezers. Tap it off and give it a little bit of heat. Okay, put that over here. And then what you have, that one's not super fab, but what you have is the bottom. And one more thing that I want to show you is, no, I guess that's it. Well, let's show you the reveal. Okay, so here is our pumpkin. So what I did with this pumpkin, there's just one that is embossed, and then there's two more that are in behind. Okay, so, and some googly eyes never go wrong. And this is just drawn, his smile is just drawn on there with a permanent little marker. Okay, so that's the pumpkins. Now I want to show you the bats. So here's the bat, and I also created a moon here. Okay, so there's the bat on that one. That one is fully done, and this one here just along the bottom. So you see I've made a couple different sizes. And I just want to show you something else here before we say goodbye for the day. So this is my bullet journal, and this is where I've taken the patterned paper and I cut out those items, and I did the same thing as what I did with the bats. And then you can see here, here's my Halloween week. There's those bats, and these ones are from the punch. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that you try that and take some paper, some colored paper, whatever colored paper you have, and turn that into a little work of art using the things you have. Thanks very much for joining me. I'll see you next week when we're also going to be doing Halloween, but we're going to be doing some last minute treat holders. Thanks very much. See you later.